Hello everyone, we're back finally with a small trip away last week to Barcelona, so we missed putting up a couple of videos. So today's video is going to cover a couple of things that are up there in the night sky from sunset onwards, and then I'm going to cover one of the best books that anybody can buy for astronomy, Turn Left at Orion. Alright everybody, so let's cover a couple of things that are up there tonight. So in the night sky tonight, we did it from Lucan, which is just down the road here in Dublin. The glorious M50 behind us here, not quite backed up yet, but it will be soon, don't worry. Sunset is about 10 to 10, according to Earth Sky, so I'm hoping it's right. I did see 9:15 somewhere, but that sounds very early. So once sunset's gone, up in the night sky tonight, just after sunset, going in order from when the time the sun sets to about 4 o'clock in the morning, there's two comets up there. Comet 13P, which is only magnitude 6.3, so it's, you know, almost naked eye from a very dark sky sight. That's in Orion. That's easily visible with a small telescope. Comet C 2023 V4 is much more difficult to find with a small telescope. Magnitude 10.7, that's in the constellation Lynx. Both of those comets are circumpolar, so they're up there all the time pretty much from Ireland. Next up then, the moon. The moon is in first quarter and it's gone at 2 a.m. It's in the constellation of Leo, so if you're looking at the moon, you are looking in the area of Leo in the night sky. Next up then, Saturn rises at about 2 a.m, that's in Aquarius. Mars rises in Aries at 3 a.m, and Jupiter, although it is very bright and very easy to see, it's rising about 45 minutes before the sun comes up in Taurus. And actually Jupiter was in Taurus when I started getting into astronomy, so it must be multiple to 12, which would be 36 odd years ago. The last time it was up in Taurus, not the last time, but it was up in Taurus when I started really high up, and was probably one of the real reasons I got into astronomy when I was between the ages of 10 and 12. So that's what's up there tonight, or what's going to be visible tonight. The other thing I'm going to go through is, we had a customer in earlier. They have a telescope already. They have a couple of accessories, eyepieces, filters, stuff like that they've gotten off us over the past year or two. And they've been kind of looking at the night sky, looking at all the bright stuff, like the easy to find stuff, the moon, Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, all of that, even bright stars. They're even searched out some double stars like Albireo in Cygnus, and that kind of found them quite easy. But now they want to move on to some deeper sky objects. And there's two things they want to cover. One was they wanted to be shown where they were, how to find them, because they had a manually controlled telescope. In this case, it was a Skywatcher Star Travel 120 AZ3, which is a 120mm refractor. And I'll have that link in the description down below if anybody wants to have a look at that one. But they also wanted to know what the stuff would look like, which is a very common thing that we get asked in here in the shop when people come in. What will stuff look like in a particular telescope? And also the other one, kind of not really related, is how far can a telescope see, which I find very difficult to answer. But they wanted to know what it looked like. And there is a book out there that really helps with this, and it's a book called Turn Left at Orion. It was written by Brother Guy, Consul Magno, from the Vatican Observatory. It's in its like 5th edition at this stage. It's a brilliant book, and I'll just grab a copy now and just run you through it. So here it is. It's a decent sized book. All the pages are kind of laminated, so they're not going to get too wet when it gets a little bit damp outside. But aside from the beginning, which has some of the best moon maps you're going to come across, especially if you're interested in kind of teasing out a bit more detail on the moon and not just kind of looking at it and going, hey, there's the moon. It goes across the moon in sections and covers each of those sections in great detail. For instance, you can see the Apollo 11 landing site is on page 29. It'll show you the area that you need to look in order to see it there. I don't know whether you guys can see it or whether it focuses or whether I've just ruined the camera. So it's great for that. It covers a little bit about using a telescope, but that's not the main point of the book. So what they did was, Guy and his companion went looking at all the reasonably popular deep sky objects, double stars, stuff like that. And not only did they observe them, I think we actually met them at a Newport Astronomy Club event a couple of years ago, and we were actually sitting beside him at dinner. So we were able to tease him out on loads of stuff about the book. They used the 6-inch reflector, was the kind of biggest scope that they used. So they didn't use an absolutely enormous telescope to do this. And what they did was they pencil sketched everything that they got. So the Orion Nebula is here, shows you kind of what you can look for in a small telescope and in a medium-sized telescope. He also has a bit of information about the object, and he also covers how to find it. So he starts by showing you a large area of the sky, looking for the constellation Orion in this case. Then he asks you to zoom in just below the belt to the area that looks a little bit fuzzy, a couple of bright objects there. And then once you've zoomed in on that, then when you're looking at it through the telescope, he has what it looks like in a 6-inch Dobsonian at low power. He then shows you what it looks like if you boost the power. And the more popular objects in the book, like the Orion Nebula, like the Virgo galaxy cluster, which is up there at the minute, he gives it a few more pages than just, you know, a double page spread. So he starts at January and he runs all the way through to December, page by page, season by season, running through all the stuff that's really worth looking at up there. It's a great book for observing as a companion, but it's also a great book on the cloudy nights when you're wondering on the next night, what are you going to look at? So you can pull some stuff out of the book, compile a list, and then this book will help you find them. It's an absolutely class book. It's one that I recommend any astronomer or any observer has in their collection, be a beginner or not. And it's well worth taking a look at it. And again, the link for this will be in the description as well. So that was today's one that came in. That was interesting. There's a couple of other scopes and accessories went out, but this was the one that kind of caught my eye as being one that was worthy of talking about. So that's it. Over and out. See you Monday.